Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jani, and today I have a video that's a little different from my typical beauty videos, fashion videos, vlog videos. Today I am talking about my weight loss journey with vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which is a type of bariatric surgery where they take about 80% of your stomach and you are left with 20% of your stomach, and that helps curb your appetite and helps lose weight. I got my procedure done on February 5th, 2018. So I am about almost 2 years out of surgery, and I have lost a total of 170 pounds. So my highest goal, my highest tracked weight was 330 pounds, and I am currently 170 pounds. So the timeline that I have for my surgery was from September 2017 to February 5th, 2018. I began my journey for weight loss back in 2017. I actually started in the beginning of the year. Was one of my New Year's resolutions was to lose weight. So from January to August, I had lost about, well, from January to February 5th, I had lost about 60 to 70 pounds, because I think day of surgery I was 280 pounds. So from 330 to 280, I had lost that amount of weight on my own. And a lot of people ask me why I just didn't continue losing weight on my own. I've tried so many different ways to lose weight. I've lost so much weight and then just gained it right back. And I was looking for, just looking at my options and the options that my doctors recommended. And this was recommended from multiple doctors because of how big I was and because of some medical issues. I was pre-diabetic, I was having joint issues, I was just having health issues in general, and this really did help me from getting sicker than what I feel like I already was. So like I said, I had the gastric sleeve, and I already explained what it is. I had a pre-op diet and a post-op diet. My pre-op diet actually it started about 2 weeks prior to my surgery, of lean meats and eating healthy, and then the weekend before my surgery I had to do a water or liquid fast. So I just drank some liquids, Powerades, protein shakes, and yeah, I flushed my system out with that. And I only had to do that for about the weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I had my surgery. Then I had to see multiple doctors to get the procedure done. So for my insurance, because everybody's insurance is different, I actually had to visit 6 different doctors, but I had to see my nutritionist 5 times. So I was required to see a nutritionist for 5 months and to get approved for surgery. And the doctors I had to see was a therapist to get a psych exam, and I actually continued going to therapy after I had my surgery because it helped mentally. It helped me kind of get over that little hump of like, oh my god, people are looking at me weird, people are looking at me different, and that really took a toll on me. Like, I felt really self-conscious about me losing the weight and how people were reacting to me losing the weight, and it was very foreign to me, and I had never had that much attention. And that's not being boastful or anything like that, it was just night and day. Like, people weren't expecting me to come back to work looking like a completely different person, and I did. I had to see a gastroenterologist, a cardiologist, a pulmonary doctor, the dietitian, and of course your bariatric surgeon. I suggest doing your research on your surgeons and finding the best surgeon for you. I know that there are so many amazing doctors out there, and if you are interested in the kind of tri-state area, not too far from Connecticut, I actually had mine done in Connecticut with Dr. Jonathan Giannoni. and he was amazing, super professional, made me feel really comfortable. He also had a partner that he worked with, which was Dr. Maffei, and he was really good too. They made me feel really, really comfortable during my surgery, and the nurses were so nice before and after surgery. I was so nervous before surgery, and I started crying, and they stood with me the whole time, and they didn't leave my side, and that made me feel even more comfortable going into surgery. My problem that I did fall into was that I got denied originally for the surgery, and I was so heartbroken, and I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And when I found out after reaching the doctor's office, it was because they didn't have enough notes from my dietitian. Now, one thing I suggest is really looking into your dietitian. Get a great dietitian, because I didn't realize that the first dietitian I was going to was not taking enough notes, and she was really, to me, really unprofessional. She was telling me how she didn't know how to cook. We would have conversations about her daughter and like things that her daughters were doing, and it didn't really feel like I didn't really feel like she helped me at all as far as like dieting. I had to figure that out all on my own, and when I would ask her about it, or like, what do you think I should do, what are my options, what do you suggest I eat, it was like, oh well, you should speak to your doctors, or you should speak to your surgeon, or you should speak to somebody else. But she was my dietitian. So definitely look into a better dietitian, a good dietitian that's going to help you throughout your process, because at the end of the day, I didn't have enough notes. She didn't take enough notes. She didn't really go down the list of what I was doing or gave any suggestions. So yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to be very clear of, that those nutritionist visits are very important. I needed to go to group, which was kind of like a AAA kind of thing, where you hear people's stories pre-op and post-op, and that was really cool too, because you got to hear other people's stories, and it was interesting because you kind of learned like, oh okay, I should take these vitamins instead of this vitamins, and you heard what like worked for them, even though everybody is different. Like I had a really hard time during all my phases of like liquid diet, soft foods and everything. So after surgery, I had a really, really tough time. I actually ended up staying in the hospital for a week because I wasn't holding down any liquids, I didn't like anything, and I wasn't eating or drinking anything, and the doctors were a little worried and the nurses were a little worried, and they wouldn't let me leave until I really started drinking at least water and liquids. So towards the end of the week, it did get better, but what ultimately did end up happening, which is going to be a little TMI, about a week after I had my surgery, I got really sick and dehydrated and got really bad constipation, to the point where I couldn't use the bathroom at all, and ended up in the emergency room, and I was getting really sick, throwing up. It was horrible. So definitely drink your water so you're not dehydrated. Then after that, a few weeks later, I actually got a UTI, and the urinary tract infection turned into a kidney infection. And what did end up happening was I went to the hospital for the UTI. They didn't give me anything for it. I had to go back 2 days later because I was in such pain I couldn't even walk, and it was because it had gone into my kidneys, and that was one thing that they were trying to avoid, but they didn't avoid. And I actually had to get an IV of antibiotics, and I stood there I think overnight because of that. So drink your water. So I had a pretty rough time eating, like I said, after surgery. It was, I don't know if it was like a mental for me, but I had a hard time like eating things and drinking, and I didn't want to eat and I didn't want to drink because I was worried about my stomach, or I was worried about it hurting. So it's all a mental thing, which is why I continued going to see a therapist, so that he can kind of help me deal with all of those little things. You have to take your vitamins. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty horrible at taking my vitamins. So take your vitamins, take your vitamin D, vitamin B complex, your definite your multivitamin, so that you don't get any like problems down the road of like as you age. You definitely want those nutrients in your body, because you're not getting the nutrients through the food. If you're eating a high protein diet, you should, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm 2 years out, so I kind of have slacked off, but I'm trying to get back into it. And I had cut off sugar and drinking for like a whole year and a half after my surgery, but I did start slowly eating things that I'm not supposed to and drinking, and I'm kind of trying to cut back on all of that. So I really don't eat anything with sugar, or I kind of slowed down on my drinking. So yeah, working out, I kind of slacked off on that too, but I'm starting to get back into the groove of things. I'm getting married in July, so I kind of want to start toning up my body. I will show you my loose skin in a few, but yeah. And hair loss, I did have a bit of hair loss, which is why my hair is so short. I did just cut it off last year, because I just couldn't take how much hair loss I was getting, but now it's much healthier, it's growing in fuller, and I don't use any heat on my hair, which helped also. So there's that. I want to show you guys what my stomach looks like, because you know, you're gonna have loose skin after. I don't wanna, but this is what it looks like, and these are what my incisions look like. So you guys, that's gonna be it for this video. If you have any questions about vertical sleeve gastrectomy or any other questions for me, I would be happy to answer them for you. And until my next video, you guys, I'll be seeing you. Bye.